I want to focus us on this concept of what we can do to keep money in our own communities here in the neighborhoods of New York City. I want to focus us on what it means to help each other in this really difficult moment. And we're here in the Kwanzaa season, and it's a time that really helps us think about principles that are so powerful for guiding our lives, particularly in a crisis. I got to tell you, the Kwanzaa principles, they make so much sense anytime, but particularly in the tough times we're going through, they really shine through. So today is the fourth day of Kwanzaa. Today's principle is Ujaama, or cooperative economics. It's a powerful concept. And I want to turn to Deputy Mayor Phil Thompson, who is someone who's been leading so many of the initiatives of this administration to help keep money in our communities, to help make sure that people have opportunity who didn't have it before. He's been leading the way on our MWBE programs for minority and women-owned businesses to get more and more opportunity through government contracts. He's been leading the way on our efforts to help support worker-owned, employee-owned businesses. It all comes back to this central concept of cooperative economics and creating maximum self-sufficiency here in our own city. And I want you to hear from the Deputy Mayor. He's really put his lifetime of his work into this. I want him to talk to you today about this principle, what it means, and how we put it into action. Deputy Mayor Phil Thompson, welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Ujaama, as the mayor said, means cooperative economics. And economics is not about how a few individuals get rich while most people get left behind. The meaning of economics, which Ujaama speaks to, is how do we support one another in material terms with things like food, housing, and shelter. During Kwanzaa, we always begin with honoring our ancestors. For those of us who are African American, we can use our ancestors as an example of Ujaama. If you look around the country, you'll see Black churches everywhere. And if you look at the cornerstones, the dates when they were founded, many of them were founded just a few years after slavery. And you might ask, how did a people with very little money who had just emerged out of slavery manage to build so many churches all across this country? And the answer is cooperative economics. They pooled their money week by week and built these churches. When Booker T. Washington, a former slave, wanted to build Tuskegee University, one of the first Black colleges, he hired an architect named Robert Taylor, a Black architect and grandfather of Obama advisor Valerie Jarrett. Except when Robert Taylor got to Tuskegee, he found they didn't have any money to build anything. So what did they do? They organized a brick-making cooperative amongst the students. The students sold bricks across Alabama, and they made the bricks that built Tuskegee. That's literally how Tuskegee got built. Our administration is taking a cooperative economics approach to MWBEs. When we spend city revenue to contract with MWBEs, we are practicing a form of collective economics. Why? Because we are recycling money you pay in taxes to MWBEs that almost always hire people from neighborhoods within this city. The mayor has asked us, you just heard him, and Janelle as well, buy local, shop local. Why? Because that way your dollars go to help people in your very own community. This too is a form of cooperative economics. Our Department of Housing Preservation and Development is now promoting community land trust and nonprofit ownership and MWB ownership of housing. Why? Because that way housing and land become a community asset that we can cooperate together to sustain and prevent displacement. A few weeks ago, we announced a new program, the mayor did, to help employees buy businesses when their owners went to sell. In the first week after the announcement, we had over 60 owners contact us saying they were interested in this program because they would like to keep their businesses with their employees after they retire. This, too, is a form of collective economics. Looking forward, we will continue to look for new ways to build on the principle of Ujaama, whether in manufacturing locally, many of the things we buy from afar, or in using our collective savings, whether they're in banks, pension funds, or insurance companies, to strengthen our communities. We believe that solidarity helps build prosperity, not greed. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Wonderful. Deputy Mayor Phil Thompson, I always am spellbound when you give us a sense of the history and the bigger picture. And I know now why you have been such a beloved professor in your work at MIT before you came to us, because you immediately bring everyone into a deeper understanding. So really appreciate you giving us that insight and wrapping the pieces together. And again, for everyone, the principles of Kwanzaa are ringing through so clearly right now as we face this crisis and overcome this crisis. And thank you for putting it all into perspective, Deputy Mayor.